Welcome to the first segment of World News with Murega. I'm your host, Mercy. Today, we are going to tackle the subject UTU. We will try to analyze and understand in depth what the term UTU really means. What is UTU? What exactly is the meaning of this term UTU? Can we see it? And if we can, is it something tangible that we can touch and feel? Does it even exist? If it does, what does it stand for symbolically in the grand scheme of the world? And to what degree does it have an impact on this scheme? What exactly is it? What is it? This UTU. What is it? These are the questions that scientists and scholars all over the world and throughout time have tried to come up with answers to. But to be frank with you, answers to these questions have been hard to come up with. Today we have with us Murega in studio, who has extensive knowledge and experience on this subject. Maybe, just maybe, he might be able to shed some light on this sensitive matter and maybe get some closure on it. Welcome to the show, Murega. Thank you. What can you tell us about this subject? You know, in ancient times, there were people who believed that the UTU was actually out of this world. Looking at the creation story in the Bible, for example, it stipulates that the God created the body and then put the life into it. From just this story, we can argue that the life and the body are two distinct entities. Just hold on, Murega. You're losing us there. Yeah. That is basic knowledge. We all know that if a body loses life, then the body dies. You have to understand this well. The story in the Bible says that the God created the body and then put the life into it. Yes, that's what the story says. So let me ask you, as well as the viewers, can you put the life back in a dead body? No. All research and empirical studies have shown that it is impossible to bring a dead body back to life. So there was no way that the body that the God created in the creation story could have been dead before the God put the life into it. What do you mean, Murega? This doesn't make sense. The God put life in the body and the body started living, right? But you said it yourself. You cannot put life in a dead body. That's what you said, right? So, the body was not dead then. The body was not dead. This is interesting. So, the body was not dead. And it was not living at the same time because the God had not put the life into it. Right? So what state was the body in? Murega, this is strange. What you're saying, I can't even begin to wrap my mind around what you just said. What exactly do you mean? What I mean is that there could be only one explanation for this. And that is, there must be another state between the body being dead and having life into it. That has never crossed my mind. And what state could that be, Murega? I'm not sure, but let's try to think about this. When you do not care about someone, and you could care less whether they are dead or alive, What state that this person exists in your mind? That is true, Murega. I've heard that statement myself before, where someone was telling another they don't care about them, whether dead or alive. However, I've got no idea what state they could be existing in the mind of the person telling them that. Stop. What did you just say? Repeat what you just said. What? That I've heard the statement before. That's someone telling another that they don't care about them dead or alive. Not that. What you just said after that. That I have no idea what state they could be existing in the mind of the person telling them that. Is that what you want me to repeat? Yes. That is exactly it. But Murega, that was just a straightforward, basic statement. The meaning of the statement is what caught my attention. The state that they could be existing in. You did not say the state they could be living in because you do not care whether they are dead or alive. Right? Yes, that is the point I've repeated to you twice. What is the point that you're trying to get to? They exist? Huh? I don't see how that makes any sense of what we are discussing about here. What exactly are we talking about here? Look, it is very simple. If you're not in the state of being dead or in the state of being alive, then there's only one explanation left. And that is you are in the state of existence. Oh, Mrega. So you mean that the body that God created was in the state of existence before the God breathed life into it. That's what you mean? That is exactly it. In the creation story of the Bible, the body that the God created must have been in the state of existence before he put the life into it. Morega, I'm not sure that there's any scientific evidence to dispute the statement that you just made. But I'm sure that this statement will not sit well with some folks. This is controversial. You know that. Because I'm sure the Bible does not say that. You can't shy away from controversies. Controversies are the basis of all discussions. You can't. You just can't escape controversies. Maybe, but that does not shed light on the main issue here, Morega. The topic of discussion. We are talking about what is UTU. Remember? Yes. That's what we are talking about. And the purpose of this discussion is trying to get there. But the question we should be asking ourselves right now is whether there are bodies which exist in the world which never got a chance to get their life in them. That should be the question. Okay, Mrega. So you mean that there are bodies which the God did not breathe life into them. So they are just stuck in the state of existence. It could be. So basically, what I'm saying is that the bodies which the God created and breathed the life into them are the UTUs. Because the God must have breathed the UTU into them. Okay. But it is right to assume that every body that the God created breathed the UTU into it. Right? Correct. Because it's the God. Then where did these other bodies that you claim are stuck in the state of existence came from? Who must have created them? Who? These are the questions that we are still looking for answers to. More research is needed so that we can understand how come these bodies started existing. They were created by who? For what purpose? And by whose instruction? We will also need to analyze critically the physical as well as behavioral differences between the bodies which are alive, in short, the UTUs, and the bodies which are in the state of existence. If there are any, that is. Rega, I guess we will have to wait for the findings on that issue so that we can get clarifications on that. I guess that was all the time we had for today's discussion on World News with Murega. Murega, it is always a blessing to have you here. Don't mention it. It has been my pleasure. Until next time, adios.